It's a new idea.
Say something.
He's more green now. He's
But-
the green machine.
Steve, at the last meeting, Steve O'Leary, mentioned, well, look at 2009. You're gonna pay $127 flat fee. I don't believe a lot of people still understand that if we go pay as you throw, they're gonna have to pay $127 a year just for the truck to go by. If you don't pick up a thing, it's for the service of having the truck go by. And then they're gonna pay $1.75, not $1.51 that we originally had, because we didn't know what the price per bags were. We had to get a hold of a vendor. It's 20 cents a bag to produce a 33-gallon bag. It's 14 cents a bag to produce a 15-gallon bag. So if we offered, we could offer 2 bags. But if you do the math, and you put out even one small bag a week, one small bag a week would be 5 cents left. It could be $1.70 or $1.75, depending, $1.65, depending. But if you do the math, at 127 plus that amount,
218.
$218 a year as opposed to 180. Now, the reason that's higher, there's no offset here for stabilization. You're not applying stabilization. So you could apply stabilization on the 127 rate to get that down, but guess what? You're still gonna pay 180. There's no saving.
For the low-end user,
The low-end user,
there's no
there's no saving. Right. Even if they put out one 15-gallon bag. The 15-gallon is the liner that you put in your rubbish, the white liner. That's about a 15-gallon bag.
But the reason for that is that in this proposal, we're taking all of the cost of trash off of the tax roll.
Right.
Where right now, a portion of it is on the tax roll.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Well, as I said, we're not gonna make a decision this morning on this issue, but it's clear that, there are a number of options, and each option has its advantages and its disadvantages.
Oh, yes.
And it's not a simple solution.
It's not a simple solution. I don't believe the board needs to rush into it. If we had a program that was kind of in chaos, I would have been at you months ago to say, let's change it and be ready for July 1st. I don't believe you need to be in a hurry. Finance agrees with us from their end. Just take your time and keep it on the table. I will ask you, though, if you stay with the status quo, that you consider 2 things effective July 1st. 5-bag limit. Put a bag limit on the program. We've got too many households that are, we believe, people are coming in out of town, they have family, they have relatives, and they're adding rubbish to North Readings because we have no bag limit. 5 bags per household per week. A lot of bags.
What if somebody has typically more than 5 bags a week? Is there a way around it for them? Do they pay? How do they get their trash picked up?
Right now?
No, I'm saying if you implemented a limit, a program.
And what's the definition of a bag? I mean, I use a trash barrel. I mean, I put my kitchen trash bags in.
The 33-gallon bag.
But how big is my barrel? What's a normal barrel, trash barrel?
333.
Yeah, how many bags can you get in it, Steve? How many 33-gallon bags can you get? 2?
Well, when I take my sons and I stand them on it and I push it.
It's.
But you know what? This is for discussion. Most towns are, if they have a bag limit, they're somewhere between 4 and 6. So I just said 5 as an average.
Now, my question was this, is if there is a family in town that is typically needs 7 bags a week, right, and we put a limit on it, how do they dispose of the rest of the trash? They bring it down to town hall and
Well,
throw it in a dumpster?
if their neighbor puts out 2, I'd say they
Yeah,
ask
right,
their
yeah.
neighbor if they can put 2 on
okay,
their
I
curb.
understand that. I'm just wondering, would there
serious.
be,
I'm serious too, that happens to me.
would there be a method?
You have that many bags, huh?
No, my neighbor puts it
Would would there be a method to, for someone to
Sure.
purchase additional capacity? That's my
I
question.
mean, it could be a method just by having the board saying, hey, we have these conditions associated with pickup. 5-bag minimum or a maximum. However, we can waive it per household if certain conditions exist or something like that. These people can just come to DPW and say, whatever. Or you could say for another, see, I'd be concerned about paying something and then opening a door for, all of a sudden now there's 12 and 13 bags a week. I just,
All right.
the whole idea is,
I didn't want to belabor the discussion.
the whole idea is to keep people from out of town bringing rubbish in. The other item I'd ask you to consider is, Joe, bulky items. And he and I disagree. I think you should have people be paying for all bulky items. They put a couch, I gotta tell you, Joe Tassoni has a new living room. So over 5 weeks,
He's brought
he
it all to
basically
town?
got it all out there.
Now we know what the problem is.
But think of it, in 5 weeks, he's got all the old furniture picked up on the town tab, town tonnage, and he enjoys his new furniture. I mean, he should be paying, the idea of one bulky item a week, to me, is nonsense. I know you disagree.
I guess you have to define a bulky item too
disagree
at this point.
And part of my
Okay.
reason, part of my reason for disagreeing is, and no disrespect to this neighborhood, Willow Street will look like Jordan's basement in a matter of a month. Because, I'm not saying my couch would go there, but my neighbors probably would. It's just the same as, raising the fees and the trash going in the.
We will reserve an entire evening for this discussion.
I would just, and I know the recycling committee, as much as they want to see pay-as-you-throw implemented, they at least would support those 2 recommendations that I'm bringing. So I'm not just speaking for myself. I know that that was important to them as
Okay.
well. All right?
Okay.
Water, you have your package.
I'm sorry, we have another question. Joe.
I just want to add some financial information to what Mr. Hanlon said. Through November, the receipts for trash fees are at 51%. So financially, as Dave says, it is working. We are collecting the money that has been budgeted, and through 5 months, which
Okay,
is
so
only 2
the
billing
collections
cycles.
are right. The question is, are we under our expenses based on those
Oh, I'm aware of
collections? And we are.
We're doing very well.
Yeah, the trash had been a problem historically, the revenue side, that's been taken care of.
What do you attribute to the change?
Growth. Our calculations are based on, I think it was 42 in change household, and we have more growth, and so there's 720,000 that we have been projecting. That's the number we've been using since we've established the program, and just by growth of the community.
That's on the revenue side. I'm talking about on the on the trash, on the fee for tonnage. That's obviously not keeping up with the growth. It's less than what you might anticipate. So the question is, how do we account for the success of the program? Is it the word that's gotten out, or, I mean?
It's a combination of 2 things, yes. It's the increase, the tipping fee is increased is modest. The recycling committee has done really good work at constantly getting recycling into people's minds. It's the younger generation that's the people that are eventually going to really make it all work anyway. And then the growth in numbers of the community.
Further questions on this? Let's move on to water.
Water, well, you're going to have a presentation Monday on the capital and the rate, and you have it in your packet. You do have the water rate hearing information in your package.
Yes.
I don't want to get into a lot of depth on it. I just tell you that the Finance Committee has, we had a good meeting with the Finance Committee on it. They had some questions on some other alternatives that we could revisit to look at revenue side, and that'll be discussed Monday. That'll all come out Monday. But right now, what we're recommending to the board Monday is the summer rate that you passed, is just to make that now a year-round rate. So that's a tier 3 rate. And the people that are affected by that are the high end users, Teradyne. As soon as in a day they're there. You got some high end users. So
So a lot of the local homeowner high-end users for the summer will not be impacted at all.
no,
in the
because they
winter.
won't be using the water, right? And then a 2% increase on the rates. So that's what you're going to hear Monday. That's the bottom line. That's our recommendations. But there will be other discussions on some other alternatives of revenue rates. The cost drivers, of course, in water. What Mark does, Mark Clark, our utility superintendent, Mark does an 3-year, every year in his budget preparation, he does the last 3 years of average use of Andover to calculate what we expect from use of Andover. It's not quite as bad as trying to predict snow, but it's almost as bad because our weather can be so wet or so dry. Really have tremendous swings, and when it's really dry, we make a lot of money.
If we looked at cost of water from what we generate versus what we pay for Andover, what's the differential?
What's that again?
The cost of water that we generate versus the cost of water we buy from Andover, what's the differential?
Oh, in cost?
Yes.
Bob, I'd have to go back because, and look at that, I'll have to get that to you for Monday.
Okay.
Because we look at our own, I think what we did the last time we produced that number for you, we had all our fixed costs included in our own production of water, as opposed to applying the fixed costs to include Andover
I
site.
know it's not an easy number to arrive
Right.
at because.
So I've got to check with Mark in terms of how I believe we did the former first year, so maybe we do both numbers.
Well, in the process of presenting that number, just present how it was arrived, what
Yeah, sure.
costs were put where, just so I have some idea.
But that's our primary cost driver in the water budget, chemicals, and so forth.
The other question is, can Andover charge us anything they want,
No.
or are they restricted to some?
No, they're restricted. We get 20% over the residential rate unless we use X amount of gallons a year. And we've been using that X amount of gallons a year for the last 5 years. We exceeded, so we get the residential rate. It's a 20-year contract. We're paying the residential rate. So what
We're
they
paying
pay,
the same.
what their customers pay, we pay. But before I have another budget cycle with you folks, and I would hope that Mark and I will be meeting with Andover between now and the next budget cycle to see what the town wants to do at the end of the 20 years in terms of contract negotiation. I want to be able to come back to the board, the finance committee, with another, 5, 10, 20-year proposal, and what are we going to be paying for water from them.
When does that contract run out?
That'll be up, bear with me here.
About 2-3 years left?
Yes. Yeah.
Gotta be getting close.
I think it's about 2 years after I've actually retired from the department, so I really would like to get that wrapped up before I go.
Well, yeah, it's not too soon to time. It's only 2-3
No, we've
years out.
already, we've been the Public Works Director, we've been in contact with him and his staff. Unfortunately, Jack Peckus, his wife died recently. So Jack is, it's not been a good time.
But as far as implementing this 3-tiered system on a seasonal basis,
Yes.
we go year-round with it,
Yes.
would that not necessarily put us in an adverse position from a negotiating standpoint with Andover?